Hey you guys, so today we're going to be having a look at the L'Oreal Infallible Stick Sculptant Foundation. It's this here. I've had it for 3, maybe 4 days, and I got this one in honey. Oh, 1 second. So I got this from Superdrug for $8.99. This comes with 9 grams of product. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I'm going to show you the stick. Now keep in mind, I have been using it. I've used it 3 times and it doesn't really look like it's moved that much, to be fair, but this is what it looks like. I don't know if 9 grams is a lot. I'm not one of those people who's like, you know, how much eyeshadow is in an eyeshadow pan compared to how many shades you get and how much the whole palette is for. I'm not really that kind of person as such. I think it's mainly because I've got so much makeup that the chances of me getting through that particular item anyway is going to be, you know, quite slim. But I don't really do, you know, how many grams, ounces. I'm just not that person. If you are, that's great. Teach me your techniques and theories, but it just doesn't really bother me that much. Now I'm in the middle of filming this look. It's still not complete, but I wanted to, because I'm going on to the makeup part now, I wanted to show you this foundation. So this is kind of like, I feel like this particular foundation is trying to mimic your skin. Like this shade is like the perfect shade for me. It's just amazing. When I swatched it in the store, I've got some on my lip there. When I swatched it in the store, I was like, this is my perfect shade. In that particular Superdrug, they didn't have loads and loads, but I still picked it up from there because obviously I get beauty points and blah blah blah. And I went down the road to Boots and they had more shades, and they had a lot more deeper shades, so much so that they were like too deep for me to contour with. I can use some pretty deep shades to contour and like make it work. Now they say that this is supposed to be like an all day long wearing foundation, and I feel like with today's modern society and working girls and all of that good stuff, you need a foundation that lasts all day. And in my 3 or 4 days of using it, I have definitely found that it is an all day wearable foundation. So this is what my skin looks like with one layer, I guess. And I tried it like this for the first day, and when I went into work and whatever, I just found that, yeah, it's a nice foundation, but I could do with a little bit more. So the next couple of days, I made sure that I put on a little bit more, especially focusing on the areas where I do have blemishes. Because it's not a liquid foundation, it doesn't really need to dry down as such, but the finish of it is kind of like semi-matte, if that makes sense. So it's not glowy, but it's not exactly, like it's not dewy or glowy as such, but it's not 100% matte either. So this is the foundation with 2 layers, I suppose. And I actually really quite like this. What I have found with this foundation is that my T-zone tends to get very oily very quickly with this foundation. I don't feel like it holds on to any kind of, it's like all my oils start to peek through. And looking at this foundation as it is, as you know, I haven't put on any powder, but I have been putting on powder on top of it because I like it to look matte, and knowing that the oils are going to start shining through, I make sure that I put some powder on because I don't want to be looking like I'm a light bulb before I get to work. So if you like a matte foundation, I would definitely say go for a matte foundation rather than this. And if you're oily, stay away from this. I'm warning you. I'm warning you. Okay. Aside from that, where I put the foundation, it stays. I don't find that it really breaks up. I just seem to have a little bit of an issue with the oil peeking through, and that's like my main only really real issue with it is my oils. But I mean, like, look, this little blemish that I have here, it's gone. I've actually, like, it's gone. It's no longer there. Obviously a foundation is never going to cover texture because texture is what it is, but I just absolutely love the way that this looks. Try not to go too ham, like I've gone a little bit hard on this side, and I can see that it is kind of a lot more cakey on this side than it is on this side. I don't know if you can tell. But I can definitely see in real life that this side I put on a little bit too much. So try to go in, my advice would be do one layer, and if there are any problem areas, like for example I have that blemish there, then just put like 1 or 2 more little stripes on and dab it in. Just focus on those particular areas rather than going in again like completely, if you're looking for a more natural finish, as I do like to do. Do I like this foundation? I really like this foundation. I just wish it didn't make my oils peek through so quickly, because I do find that I need to block my skin quite often. But aside from that, I feel like the areas where I concentrate on trying to cover, it covers. It might take a couple of goes, but it does do what I want it to do in the end. And for $8.99, I'm actually quite pleasantly surprised. I do still want to get, was it a Maybelline foundation that I mentioned before? There was a Maybelline foundation that I mentioned before. That one was like £10. I'm going to go and get it at some point, but I don't know what drew me to this. I really don't, but I quite like it, especially for covering those particular areas. And I think that maybe even if I was to use it with another foundation, like say if I had my favorite liquid foundation for example, and if it didn't cover every last little part of my imperfections, I could go in with this and I can just fix up any unhidden blemishes. On top of that, I do believe that they have like the strobe highlight sticks as well. They look just like this, but they're like in pink, purple and green, something like that. And they also have, if I remember correctly, I think they also have these in corrector sticks as well, like color correcting. If I remember correctly, I know they had some kind of correcting something or other. Was it in stick form? I can't remember. Anyway, I definitely like this foundation. Is it my favorite foundation? It's not, but I think for $8.99, it's definitely a very good foundation for the price point. I've definitely had some foundations which were around this amount of money and they have not really done that much for me. This I find is like now drugstore are starting to step up their game. They're really starting to try and be a contender. Like L'Oreal has been around for probably like decades, let's be honest. But now that beauty is like this huge thing on social media and whatnot, and you've got indie brands who are just amazing, these brands also need to, you know, keep up with the times. So I feel like some of the drugstore things that I have tried of recent, they have been really, really good. Not everything, but a lot of things have been really good. So I feel like keep up the good work. Definitely keep up the good work. I'm looking forward to whatever else that they might bring out. Listen, try it, see what you think. But as I said, if you're oily, it's probably not the best foundation for you. If you like to have a very natural kind of look, go for it. Or if you have a lot of blemishes, do definitely try this, because it does give that amazing coverage and it does last throughout the day. I just find I have to blot so often, so I'm kind of like in the middle. I like it. It's not the best, but it's good for the price point. I guess that's my overall thoughts and opinions on this foundation. Anyway, so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.